It's not just like we're inspired and we like see a video somewhere of like a polar bear drowning, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a responsibility. It's not like I got inspired one day and I was like, oh, I'm gonna use my voice one day. No, like I had no choice. I saw what was happening, I see how it's impacting my people, and it made me want to say something.
Welcome, everybody.
We're striding side by side with voices from every block and every background.
So happy you're here.
And deep diving into topics that are off the beaten path.
You ready to sweat? We're only gonna crank it up from there.
As we take a walk in the park.
You wanna take a walk with me? What is going on, world? We are here at the one, the only Outside Fest in the beautiful Civic Center Park, Denver, Colorado, which is the state capital for the people who want to be educational. Today, I have the honor of hosting Miss Quannah Chasinghorse.
Meet Quannah Chasinghorse, an advocate for indigenous communities and how they intersect with climate issues. From gracing the cover of Outside magazine to making waves at the Met Gala, Quannah is redefining beauty standards and championing indigenous representation. An avid snowboarder, Quannah and her family founded Native Youth Outdoors, an organization offering free outdoor recreational clinics to indigenous youth. Let's dive into her journey.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Here, we like to talk about like being in the outdoors and what does the outdoors do for you? It's a little different coming from you and your family's history. Outdoors isn't something you do. It's a part of your life. So what was it like growing up and approaching the outdoors with mutuality? It's not something to conquer or to go to. It's a part of your life and livelihood. How do you approach the outdoors with like growing up in it in the way that you did?
I think there was never a point where I've seen it as like a resource in a extractive, harmful way. Yes, it is resourceful, but we see the earth as a relative. We see it as a part of ourselves and a part of our identity. I think that's the difference is in these outdoor spaces, people love the outdoors, but it's because it's like their livelihood in a way where it's capitalistic. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, it's just the world we live in.
Yeah.
But I think for indigenous people, it's definitely a lot deeper than that.
I mean, your way of life is directly impacted by these things. There's a difference between like, oh, my ski season is cut short a month versus like, hey, we have no more food because the herd no longer migrates through here because the foliage that they used to consume doesn't grow because of the climate, and like they politicize something that directly affects you. How do you feel when you have to argue that politically?
To us, it's not political. It's a literal life or death situation. We have no choice, you know, because it's our lived experience. But for people that live in their comfy homes with AC and whatever, it's like they can't think outside of that. They're so comfortable. They're like, well, can't you just go to the grocery store? Like, if Alaska natives that live in rural Alaska had that option, and it was like accessible, then great. But like we don't have that as an option. It's just so mind-blowing for someone that doesn't live in rural Alaska, that doesn't know our way of life, that doesn't know that we don't even have access to groceries. And the few places that do have access, like for instance, my village, we have a store, but it's not like, it doesn't carry fresh produce. It doesn't carry anything fresh. If anything's fresh, it's usually expired or moldy by the time people, you know what I mean? And a bag of chips, and not even the good kind, is $15.
It's like the Cheetos, it's not Cheetos, they took the H out of it, the Cheetos, you know?
Cheeto! No, literally.
You
like,
get it, it's just on the bag, you know what this is.
Yeah, so it's just like, it's so frustrating having to have those conversations. We shouldn't have to defend our ways of life because we're not the problem. We never were.
So like, how do you feel about stuff like veganism, people coming at you like that with their, when if you're living off the land, that eliminates like all that capitalistic bullshit that comes with eating meat.
Our biggest teaching is never take more than what you need. And when you do take, use every part of it for anything. As long as it's useful, that's how you honor the animal, that's how you honor the earth, that's how you honor yourself. And do it in a way and give thanks, you know? And I think, like, I get that they're coming from a place of passion, but you're barking up the wrong tree. Like, I'm not the one.
We're gonna crank it up a little bit. The pace is gonna get a little faster. What you think about that?
I'm down.
One thing that I've always noticed about you, Quannah, is that you are not afraid to use your voice. And like, where's one of the moments where you kind of first seen that you could use your voice as a place for advocacy and strength?
My first experience in that was actually when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
I think I was like 12, 13.
Okay.
You know, I grew up in the movement. My mom and my aunties are very, very vocal and very active in, you know, climate work, in land protection, policies. All of them do a lot of work for our community. And so I was kind of raised going to rallies and hearing them speak.
Being in the midst of the people who are fighting back against whatever's going on.
It's not just like we're inspired and we like see a video somewhere of like a polar bear drowning, you know what I mean? It's like
every time a tree cracks, you cry. You're like,
you know,
oh.
exactly. So it's like, it's a responsibility. It's not like I got inspired one day and I was like, oh, I'm gonna use my voice one day. No, like I had no choice. I saw what was happening. I see how it's impacting my people, and it made me want to say something. So the school district was having like a meeting on whether or not they wanted to change Indigenous Peoples Day to Columbus Day. And usually what they do is they like let everybody in the district know like, hey, we're gonna have a discussion about this, and the table will be open for comments, whatever. No one heard about it, and they
tried to hurry up and have a hush secret meeting.
And my auntie heard about it from someone that worked for the district, and so she was like, hey, me and your mom are gonna be here, but I can have someone pick you up from school and you can go and say something if you want. I was really empowered. I was like, I'm gonna do something. Like, I wanna say something. So I sat with my mom and auntie, we talked about it, and I wrote this little paper. It was almost like a mini speech.
So they're trying to have a top secret meeting to get this passed. And it's like, the story of Christopher Columbus can just be some lily bullshit when it's actually indigenous kids.
Yeah.
How does that like with your psyche of like, hey, this man is a great person?
Exactly.
You know, I kind of adapt this speech that your parents would give you to kind of like black people telling their sons, hey, Mr. Officer Friendly doing the DARE program, he's gonna shoot you in like 2 years when you get a few inches taller and you're a threat.
That's the hardest thing about being a parent, especially a Native parent, is like you bring your kids to school to learn.
Yeah.
But then you have to re-teach them true history, not fabricated, whitewashed history. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's white history, not Native America history. That's not American history.
Yeah.
I went in there and I was the only person in that room.
They was like,
and yeah, no.
Not only, it's one of them? Oh my God. We were so close. Were you scared to keep going?
I was intimidated because if you go in those school board meetings, it's like all these judges, you know what I mean? And you're just standing there at the little podium speaking to all of these grown-ups, and I'm just a kid. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, how will they care? How will they care? You know? So I remember looking at my paper and like, I don't want to say this. And this is how I learned my best form of speaking is through heart. Like I speak with my heart always. I've never written a speech. I would try to, and I always end up never using it. I was like, man, how is this gonna go about? So I started talking and I tell this story from my mom's perspective, like the story of having 3 kids and we're all 2 years apart. And every 2 years, when we get to that age and that grade of us learning about Christopher Columbus, and every 2 years, that day came where one of us was like, we learned about Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, he didn't have salt and pepper.
He got lost.
He got lost.
And he called us Indians.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's an invasion.
But they, it was that fabricated story that he was this great explorer, and then they leave out the horrific parts of how he was a terrible person, because then my mom had to go through that heartbreak 3 times. She had to explain to us who he really was and what really happened. And his people ended up committing atrocities against my people. And being so young and not really understanding that, and then also questioning, why is my teacher lying to me?
Yeah.
Then I don't trust my teacher. Those feelings of like, this is why we have to stop telling this fabricated story and celebrate Indigenous people for still being here. The fact that we still exist after going through so many attempts of genocide, and like telling that from my mom's perspective and telling them how much tears were shed by me and my siblings. Like, why would they do that to us? Why would they lie? Like the confusion inside, and then we feel the guilt, the shame of being Indigenous because we're taught so many other things in school. And that's how I felt. I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna just be straight up with them and tell them how this impacts Native kids. So they were actually playing the meeting over those AM radio stations that no one listens to.
Yeah, it's like the 2 crazy people in town. It's like,
So
The dinosaurs are coming, you know that, right? AM 1520.
I saw a UFO last night.
1520 AM told me.
Yeah.
You gotta turn the dial way over to hear that shit. It's like,
yeah, so an elder heard that and was like, he called into work and was like, hey, I'm gonna come in a little bit late. I have to go support this kid that's speaking on this at the school district. And when he showed up, I can't explain to you the relief that I had and like the weight falling off my shoulders of like, all right, I have someone here that knows and hears me, that is going to help these people understand, because I'm a little kid talking to these grown adults.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're not going to take me fully seriously, but he went up there and he was like, you need to listen to her. And so with that kind of support from my community, not just my own, but other BIPOC communities, that makes a difference, you know?
All right, so a lot of people would say that the fashion industry is like anti-activism, but activism is what brought you to the fashion industry. So what kind of story like was that? Because it's not like you were tagging Vogue on Instagram like, look at me, please. So what was it like to break down the doors by keeping it real?
I've been doing this work for a long time. All my advocacy work in the climate space, protecting our lands in Alaska, the Arctic Refuge. And I was doing a lot of like get out the native vote work in 2019, going into 2020. We made a lot of change that year, and everything that I do, I think about my intention and impact onto my community and what that looks like for them, you know, how my choices and actions in fashion and in this industry can impact my community. And I never want it to be negative, so I've found ways to bridge that gap. I got reached out to by this casting director who was just casting like your regular people that have a passion, you know what I mean? There was no models, no influencers, it was just people. And it was for a Calvin Klein campaign.
Okay.
It was so cool, because that was literally it. Like, I got to do a campaign and it was solely on my advocacy work. And when that came out, I had like 3 or 4 modeling agencies reach out to me wanting to sign me.
What was that like? Did you, I mean, I know you said you have pictures as a kid wanting to model, but when it actually started happening, what was that like for you? Like, you had options.
A dream come true. I never, like, for one, I was bullied and teased and made fun of for my nose, for my bone structure, for my hair. I never in my entire life ever thought I would be a successful model. I just didn't think that would happen for me. Because the beauty standards, I mean, I do not fit at all in the realm of, you know, European beauty standards at all.
I don't know if you know this. You don't want to.
I mean,
just the way you are.
Exactly, and through the modeling industry is actually how I've learned to love myself and learn to love my uniqueness and like learn to love my look, as they say. I love your look, and it's like,
what
oh
about
my,
it?
thank you.
What part?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it my face at?
Yeah. Is it my nose?
Yeah,
like,
you see it.
That's the thing, is like, I feel like I come with so many different things that it actually, like, in modeling, you're able to use that, you know, being so many things and having so many different features and like, you know, culture and background, you have so much more to give.
So like, how reaffirming was for you to like, not only like, you kind of cute, but like, yeah, let's put her on the cover, bro. Like, this is beauty and power, regalia. How does that feel for you?
It's so empowering. I mean, I think it's just done so much, not just for me, but for so many people in the Native community, because so many of us have similar features and structure, and like, I've met so many beautiful Native women with similar bump on their nose like mine, and they all went through the same thing I went through, you know? And like, to be someone that can show the world the beauty behind the face, and it's not just our beautiful bones and our structure and our culture, it's like how we walk our path and how we show up for our community. And I think that's been my biggest tool, is not just the beauty that I carry on the outside, but it's like, you know, one of our biggest sayings is walk in beauty. It really has changed my life completely. I mean, I completely see myself differently. I mean, I used to not be able to look in the mirror that long because I hated what I saw. But now I can look in the mirror and feel proud and admire my features because I see the bigger picture. When I look at myself, I see my ancestors staring right back at me because I carry their features. I carry their strength. I mean, our ancestors, of course, carry so much trauma and generational trauma in our blood and bones, but that's not the only thing that they gave us. They gave us strength and resilience and beauty and culture and beautiful teachings that carry us in this f***ed up society, which is not built for people like us to succeed or thrive. We're surviving. And so like, I thought it was gonna be really hard too in the industry, because it's like they kind of take us models and they want to shape us into what they want us to be and what they think we should look like. And that's been the craziest thing in the fashion industry. It's not just the cultural appropriation, but it's, you know, overcoming the stereotypes and, you know, breaking down those barriers and showing the world, like, for one, we're not a monolith. We all aren't the same. We don't look the same. We don't speak the same languages. We don't have the same hairstyles. We don't have the same clothes. Like, we all are so diverse. And to show the world that, like, you know, yes, we are different cultures and different peoples, but we all share the same values. You know what I mean?
I mean, because by you radically being yourself is why I want to talk to you. I appreciate what you've accomplished. Through this show, I just try to give people like a quick deep dive into your shoes.
I'm really grateful for what I have and to be doing what I'm doing, but to also come back to the roots and like do fun and like be in community and be with family, but also then to like utilize that and be in spaces like this. You know what I mean?
How you feeling?
Good.
Let's crank it up to a little jogger jog.
Okay, cool.
Oh, she got a jogger jog. Yeah.
I don't run.
This is good.
You're getting me out of my comfort zone.
What are some of the ways that you like mix advocacy with fashion?
So I've been working with different Native nonprofits and organizations doing frontlines work. And this one is to actually help some of our Native organizations get funding to this wellness center we're working on. A safe space for Native youth.
Which is so important.
And like the statistics in Alaska are so like Alaska Native youth. I mean, I would say like a lot of even Inuit communities in Canada, a lot of communities up north struggle the worst with depression, suicide, drug abuse. So to give them an outlet and to like, and it's also working with Native Youth Outdoors, our organization.
How do you use the spaces that you find yourself in, like red carpet, Met Gala, etc.? How do you use those spaces as a tool and like show up as yourself to change?
I feel like the only way to show up in those spaces in a good way is use that as a tool to demand change. For me, that's sitting at the table, talking to the people that have the influence, the power, the money to make a difference. And challenging them, having those hard conversations, inspiring them, you know? And like, a lot of the time these people want to do that, they just don't know where to look. And so I give them that as a tool as well.
You're like, follow me, I know where to go. We made it to the trivia round. The thing about the trivia round, every wrong answer means both of us got to run faster. So it is advantageous that you try to get these right. Look, Bush Girl might help you. Or we can just treat it like the ACT. If you don't know, guess C. You ready?
Okay.
Which Colorado city is known as the gateway to the Rockies? We have A, Aurora, B, Boulder, and C, Golden. I will help you cheat a little bit. Ain't no Rockies in Boulder. It's a mountain, but it ain't the Rockies.
Okay.
So you got A, Aurora, or C, Golden.
I'm just gonna go with A. I like the name.
Guessed it right. Aurora, Colorado is the gateway to the Rockies.
Okay, I actually didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Flatirons was in Boulder. You would think the city named after a rock.
That's what I literally thought. I was like, what if I pick B because Boulder?
You know, what year was TikTok launched internationally? A, 2016, B, 2017, C, 2018.
Was it 2016?
Yeah, she was on TikTok early.
I wasn't. I just know this because 2016 was like a memorable year for me.
Oh, summer 16. I was homeless. I never had so much money in my life.
Wow.
Not paying rent. Woo. Which state has the most national parks? We have A, California, B, Alaska, or C, Colorado.
I would say Alaska, but I don't think so. It's just like usually it's just one huge one instead of a bunch of little ones.
Yeah.
I would probably say California.
Bush girl on the roll. California it is.
I live in Cali right now, so I like when I'm driving anywhere, I go through national parks. Yeah.
I should know this one. I might get my black card revoked. Who is the first black person to climb all 58 of Colorado's 14ers? We have A, Sophia Dannenberg, B, Phil Henderson, and C, Michael Richardson. What's interesting is all of them has a first. Sophia, I'll say it ain't her. She's the first black woman to climb Everest though. Shout out to Sophia. She don't get enough for climbing. She's the first one of us. Like,
she a real baddie.
Right. We got B and Phil Henderson. Another first. Shout out to Uncle Phil, the leader of Full Circle Everest, which was the first all-black expedition to Everest. That leaves us with one more person, which is
C,
Michael Richardson. First black man to climb all of Colorado's 58 14ers. Also, shout out to the Black Sherpa. He climbed a lot of them jumps too. Might have been the first, but that ain't many. Because I have no desire to do that shit. You made it far in this show. Okay. I'm starting to cramp. Are you starting to cramp up? How you
a little bit.
A little bit?
No, but I'm good.
Yeah, I need a banana. Some potassium in this. We are so lucky. In the trivia round, Bush girl Quannah is a genius and got all the questions correct. So you know what that means?
I got lucky.
No increase in speed. And that brings us to the lightning round. Cue sound effects. All right, lightning round consists of quick questions. If you could only eat one outdoor snack for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Caribou dry meat.
Caribou dry meat?
Yeah.
Like jerky?
Yeah, like, but we make it.
I want to try some of that.
Come to Alaska, you'll get a bite.
Okay, I'm on my way. What's the most unusual animal encounter you've had on a trail?
I could list off so many right now.
Every animal.
But honestly, I think I see beavers the most.
Yeah. I love beavers because they're just like, you see this running water? We got to put a stop to this. Like, who the is this go on? If you could camp anywhere in the world tonight, where would it be?
I really want to go to Nepal.
Okay.
My mom went before.
What is your favorite outdoor activity that isn't hiking?
Snowboarding.
Snowboarding. We got a lifer. She shred.
Yeah.
I was like, is this your first time snowboarding? She's like, puh. How dare you ask me that? If you could be a plant for a day, which would you choose and why?
I would be white sage because it's medicine for people and it's sacred.
Yeah.
And I would love to bring protection and blessings onto my people when used properly.
You would have thought she had that in her tuck, people. Woo. If you could have a picnic with any historical figure, who would it be? I know it's Abraham Lincoln, but after him.
Hell no. I would have like Bob Marley, Russell Means, John Trudell, Elizabeth Peradovich, Malcolm X, and bring some of my ancestors. Crazy Horse, Sitting Bull, Black Elk Speak, Geronimo, Lozen.
Yes, there you go.
Oh, so many.
But all right, good people. I'm tired in the mug. I'm pretty sure you are too.
Oh yeah.
It's at altitude. We're here at the Outside Festival. I'll be on stage later on with Thundercat, playing the backup guitar. It's not gonna be plugged in.
That's so sick. I play guitar too.
I'm lying. I don't do that.
Wait a minute. Not you just playing me right now.
This is food for thought. But yeah, we can stop before I throw up.
I feel like I'm still moving.
Hey, you feel it too? Okay. Yeah, I still feel like I'm sliding still. But yeah, we made it.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. Changing the industry, one walk at a time. And remember, we're not breathing hard. You are.